Well, hi, I'm Ben Talbot, and I'm here with James Schmaltz from Digital Extremes. He's the creative director here. So, James, could you tell us a bit about Digital Extremes and kind of what games you worked on in the past?
Well, we've actually been around for 11 years now, if you can believe it. So we started off, I did a game called Epic Pinball and then Extreme Pinball. And then at that point, I was just dying to get off of pinball. So I started some 3D research, and that's eventually what became, over the course of 4 years, Unreal. And then we were teamed up with Epic Games at the time, and then we made a whole series of Unreal games all the way up to Unreal Tournament 2004. And then right around that time, we decided Pariah is the next big one. So that's what we're working on now.
Cool, cool. I'm really interested in the look of Pariah. It seems to have a very kind of Unreal style about it. Was that something you did for the sake of continuity, or is there a lot of things that Unreal fans will be very surprised by in this game?
Well, I think there will be a lot of things that people will be surprised by, or at least find pleasantly different. I think we wanted to give a different feel to the whole game, really focus on the single player side of things this time. We've been known for really beautiful looking graphics, I would hope, in the past, and we really tried to have everything look fantastic in this game, so we've spent a lot of time on that. And overall, we wanted to have a great all-encompassing packages with our editor, multiplayer, and a great single-player aspect to it.
And another thing that really interested me was in the sense of the main character. Why did you choose a doctor? Because it's kind of ironic that he's meant to be saving lives, but
Yeah.
he's taking.
Well, that's exactly it. We wanted somebody, if you look at the array of all the video game lead characters, they're all the big muscle-bound, heroic, what you'd expect. So we wanted something a little different so that people would ask questions exactly like that. Like, why is he the hero of this game? We wanted a doctor, wanted somebody who was different, not the muscle-bound hero that you typically see. Somebody that could add a little bit of a difference to the game overall and make the story a little more compelling than you expect to see in the past.
Mm. And how much of the story are you able to tell us about? Is there a lot of secrets? Can you just fill us in on the basic background behind it?
Well, the basic background is that you play Jack Mason, and he is a doctor, and you've been sent down to Earth. It's in the future, it's 2520. You've been sent down to Earth on a routine transport mission. You are to be the doctor that transports the prisoner, Karina, off planet. You've been told she has a virus, and you are the supervising doctor for the transport. So, no big deal, routine mission. But of course, things go awry, and as the transport is taking off planet, it gets shot down to the sky and goes crashing into the wastelands around the prison. So that's how the game starts off. You, of course, survive, and Karina survives. You find out what her virus is, what it means to you and the prison and what's been happening there, and a guard called Stubbs survives as well. So we wanted to create a lot of mystery right off the bat, and really try to tell an interesting story that went along with the great action through the single player.
Cool. Yeah, it definitely seems like a very strong single player experience. The multiplayer side also looks very strong as well, particularly with regards to the weapons. One of the interesting things is the weapons counter each other. Can you tell us a bit about how they do that?
Yeah, well, one good example of how the weapons counter each other, and it's just something we put in fairly recently. That after experimenting around a lot and trying different things out, one is the plasma gun. We've got it's a really cool weapon in that it starts off, it can shoot out plasma balls, balls of energy at your enemy as laser-like projectiles. But when you bring it up, you put on these goggles, so you got the distortion effect on your goggles. And when you're using that weapons, you are protected from the flash of when you charge that up and then shoot out a supercharge of the plasma, it explodes and blinds anybody nearby. So of course, if you have the goggles up, you're protected from being blinded. But of course, if the enemies use that, and you're fighting them with a different weapon, they can blind you. But if you have the goggles on, you are not blinded, of course. So it's just interesting combinations like that carry out through the single-player game where you could decide certainly not to use the plasma gun in those times, but you risk being blinded. So a lot of interesting decisions, and that combined with the weapon upgrades, I think it makes for a really compelling experience for the weapons because, first-person shooters, the biggest component is the weapons, right? So I want to have a lot of focus on that and really do that side of things really, really well.
Cool. And are you supporting all the Xbox Live features as well, all the new ones like the clan support and the scoreboards and voice messaging?
Well, that's something, we've added in a bunch of that stuff. I think we wanted to, as we were getting feedback from everybody, I think the big feature that people love was the editor, the ability to share maps, be able to make your own maps. So we put a lot more attention on that. So, we're trying to to cover all the basics, everything you would expect on the multiplayer on live. But the real standout feature that we want to really shine is our ability to share these maps, to make your own map, share them with your buddies, and have it work across Xbox Live. So that's the one big, huge thing that we want to make sure we do right on Xbox Live.
Yeah, the map editor. How easy would you say it is to do? Could a monkey like me map to it?
That's exactly the point. We want anybody to be able to take a map and do something with it. As you sort of hear a bit more about the editor, and once it does come out, I think people will find it's just like we put a lot of thought into making it so that it can't be broken. So you can go in and you can use all the tools, change everything around. I'm sure if you try hard enough, you can make something that's not so hot. But we really try to make it so that if you're just messing around, you don't know what you're doing, you can just try anything you want and start to learn things without making a horrible, broken map. You can make something that works. Like a good example is the player starts, the points where the players spawn in a multiplayer. They're in there already. You can just pick them up and move them around to where you want. Sure, you could probably dig a pit and put one in there and the guy can't escape, but it's already there. You can't delete them, so you can't end up putting 50 player spawn points and totally breaking the map. So it's things like that, having the water auto form when you blend down the terrain down to the water level and a beach forms automatically, making the painting of the textures on the terrain really easy. Just things like that, picking up objects, moving around, having huge forts that you can put down with interiors. You don't have to worry about collision, you don't have to worry about BSP. It's all as automatic as possible and as easy to use as possible.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm really impressed with it. I think a lot of people will copy it later on. Actually.
Oh, that'd be very flattering. We'd love to see that.
But I think one of the most exciting things about it is the potential for almost unlimited downloadable content. Is there any way that you'd be able to kind of manage the maps online so that the coolest ones get a rating, like the most downloaded ones?
That's the thing. I mean, we're sort of experimenting right now to see what our limits of what we can do there is. I mean, I think in terms of, I hope everybody loves Pariah and we, sell millions of copies, and then we would do tons of downloadable content. But that's definitely a financial decision with our publisher as to how much that would be. I mean, we've always done it in the past, so, as long as people love Pariah, there's no reason why we won't do that in the future.
Cool, and community is a big thing for you. Have you had any feedback from the kind of Unreal fans on this?
Just that everybody loves the editor. I mean, that's why we're trying to spend a lot of time on it. I think it's something that could build the community for an action game like this on the consoles like never has been done before. So we're very interested to see what happens.
Great, so am I. Thanks a lot.
Cool, thank you.
Cheers.